what it is, my Hebrew Israelite family. Brother Judah Israel once again with another message for the listening ears of Yah's chosen people. Just let me give it up to our Father, family. Thank you, Father Yah, for another blessed day in the mighty name of Yahushua Mashiach. Let us all be edified, Father, that the word that will go forth. And thank you for the Ruach HaKodesh. Yes, family, this one here will be called Israelites, we must unlearn the ways of the heathen. Family, that will be the nations. That word heathen is for nations. Okay, inside of this message, family, it will come across and explain how Yah don't want us to learn the ways of the heathen. Since we have been up under the heathen so long, okay, now, so once upon a time, we did what the heathen did, but now our Father has awakened us. We know who we are. So he's saying to us, learn not the way of the heathen. So since we have already learned the way of the heathen, that's why this is entitled, We Must Unlearn the Ways of the Heathen. We must unlearn some of the things that we have learned from them. Some of the things that they taught us. Okay, like this is not only about holidays, like the post that I put up in the post part of the channel. We got a lot of holiday stuff up there. It's not only about holidays. Now, we also must unlearn celebrating pagan holidays because our Father has holy days. Okay, now they substituted his holy days with pagan holidays. See, that's why I say, family, everything that they did, it was just to counteract what our Father was doing with his chosen people. They stopped our people from keeping the 10 Commandments, set up these churches and made everything out of a religion. You know what I'm saying? They told our people, Yahudim, our ancestors, that they couldn't keep the 10 Commandments no more. And if they did, they would kill them. During the Inquisition in Europe and Spain and Portugal. This is what happened to our people. They were being murdered during the Inquisition just for keeping our Father's 10 Commandments. Okay, so they knew that that was the source of our power. We keep his 10 Commandments and honor that Sabbath day, that he would keep us blessed and on top of all nations. They read that and they knew that. So this was detrimental to them, that we got to keep these Israelites from honoring their Father. So when we fell under the curses, they was in power. They became the head, just like our Father told Moses what he was going to do. Scatter his people into all nations, and they was going to become the tail, and their enemies was going to become their head. And that's exactly what happened, family. But now, since he has awakened us back up, family, we must unlearn the ways of the heathen. And also, in here, it will come across some scriptures saying how serious it is to abuse Yah's creation, his animals and stuff like that. It'll cover a little bit of that. Okay, so it's not a whole lot, but just to help our people to understand that since we have been awakened, we must unlearn some of the ways of these heathen. As a matter of fact, there's a part of the scripture that says, don't even associate with them, because the things that they do is cursed, and our Father don't want us being cursed by copying and associating with them with the things that they do. Okay, I'll start out by saying, please, family, keep Yah's 10 Commandments found in the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 1 through 17. And I'll start reading from my Sefer Bible in Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 1 and 2. And I'm sure many of you are familiar with these verses here in Jeremiah 10. I'm going to go all the way to 3. Jeremiah 10, chapter Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 1 to 3. I don't think I need my glasses for this book. Okay, it says here, hear ye the word which Yahuwah speaks to you, O house of Yashural. Thus says Yahuwah, learn not the way of the heathen, the nations, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain. For one cut a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it moves not. Now you know he's talking about that pagan holiday, Christmas. Like I say, this is not only about holidays. I just want to get that out the way. That's one of the customs that we used to follow, that we learned from the heathen, the nations. So we need to unlearn keeping pagan holidays, because our Father has nothing to do with them. All those pagan holidays, it's a fake pagan God behind each one of them. So as you celebrate pagan holidays, you're actually serving and honoring pagan false gods. That's a form of idolatry. So you must repent if you haven't done it already. Now, briefly, I'll be going over in the book of Leviticus chapter 23, family. See, they made up pagan holidays, tried to make following the way. You know, it's like these religions, what they did, the Roman Catholics, and they took a lot of the old Babylonian customs and the Egyptian customs, and they added it to their religion. You know, that's what they did. Took some of the old customs from Babylon and Egypt, and they added it to their religion, and they tried to take from what the disciples was following, the way, with Yahushua HaMashiach, and they took his image and painted white and went around the world colonizing countries, you know, perpetrating the image of this Caesar Borgia, you know, saying that it was Jesus Christ. And so this is what they was trying to put on everybody's mind in every country that they colonized. Okay, they were saying to us, God is white, we are white, so whatever we do, it's right. And so over time, from generation after generation, you know, the Hamites started believing it, the world started believing it. We started believing it, and you know, we okay, that's, if that is God, and he is white, and they are white, and so whatever they're doing, it must be right. This went well for a long time for them, because we were under the curses. Okay, and then when you tell them, it's like, you know, later, like now, it's like, he's not white. And then they say, it don't matter. But see, that's a lie, because our word says, only the truth shall make us free. Only the truth shall make us free. It's not about him having melanin like us, but he does. He has melanin just like his chosen people does. But it's not about that. It's about the truth. You know, they like going around spreading lies. Their father, Satan, is the father of lies. So they have been living lies for centuries. So they had the whole world believing this lie, that this Jesus Christ, Caesar Borgia figure was God, actually. And so they taught everybody to worship a pagan God. Taught everybody to commit blasphemy and idolatry. Okay, so these people, they don't understand how much trouble they're really in. You know, besides stealing our lands and stealing everybody else's lands, you know, they have cursed themselves, killing all y'all's animals just for sport. I mean, our Father is so patient. He is so patient, but, you know, their sins are just steady piling up. You know, our current president talking about taking over Greenland. You know, this is just their nature, to just take people's stuff. So, when I start hearing stuff like that, he was talking about taking over Panama Canal and, you know, turning Mexico, the Gulf of Mexico, changing it to the Gulf of America, stuff like that, and taking over Greenland and stuff. Is like, that lets me know this country must be in trouble. But they're just not saying anything. This country must be in some serious trouble. I mean, but Yah is, everything is on his time frame, because their sins have reached up to heaven, and it's, he's already stirring up the pot, but he's telling us in this message, Israelites, we must unlearn the ways of the heathen, but somebody got to say it, okay? Okay, now family, now we're in the book of Leviticus chapter 23. Now this is a whole nother lesson right here, but the holy days of Yah could be found in Leviticus chapter 23. I'm going to read Leviticus chapter 23, verses 1 to 3. And Yahuwah spoke to Moses, saying, speak to the children of Yisrael, and say to them, concerning the feast of Yahuwah, which you shall proclaim to be holy assemblies, even these are my feast. 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest, a holy assembly. You shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of Yahuwah in all your dwellings. And then it goes on to say in verse 4, these are the feast of Yahuwah, even holy assemblies. And it talks about his holy feast days. But like I said, this is a whole nother lesson right here. We're not going to get off into that. But they can be found in the book of Leviticus chapter 23. And so these colonizers, they kicked our father's stuff to the curb. They want our people honoring what he told them to do as far as following the way, keeping his 10 commandments, keeping the Sabbath day holy. So when they became the head and we became the tail, this is what they did. They made up their own holidays, their pagan holidays, because they didn't want us staying connected with our power, to be blessed by him. So they caused us to follow their traditions. But now, since we have been awakened, family, we must unlearn their traditions. We must unlearn their wicked behavior, because it's all against our Father. All of these religions that they set up is just to counteract what our Father had with his chosen people. So, family, since we have been awakened, be not a part of what the heathen are doing concerning their pagan holidays, eating pork, eating catfish, eating lobster, eating shrimp, all that stuff that comes out of the sea. If it doesn't have fins and scales, Yah told his people not to eat it. So we learned a whole lot of unholy, ungodly stuff from the nations. But since we are awakened, as I say again, we need to unlearn that behavior. But I've been on this since 2017. I haven't ate any pork. I used to love catfish too, but since I started living according as an Israelite, according to the way that our Father told our Yahudim and the other tribes, the 12 tribes of Israel, to follow concerning his dietary laws, that's what I've been on since 2017. No pork, no catfish, no shrimp, no lobster, none of that mess, no more. And I don't miss it. Don't miss it at all. I like turkey meat, white breast meat, you know what I'm saying? Chicken is fine, you know what I'm saying? Turkey, beef, but I'm a turkey man. I love turkey meat because it's light and it's healthy. Protein in it, and it's good. It's really good. And it don't weigh you down. Don't weigh me down. Okay, family, now I'll be going over to the book of Jubilees, chapter 21, verse 19 and 20. Jubilees, chapter 21, verse 19 and 20. And it says here, and take no gifts for the blood of man, lest it be shed with impunity without judgment, for it is the blood that is shed that causes the earth to sin. And the earth cannot be cleansed from the blood of man save by the blood of him who shed it. You can find these same scriptures in the book of Numbers. Okay? Verse 20. And take no present or gift for the blood of man. Blood for blood, Yahuwah says, that you may be accepted before Yahuwah Elohim, the Most High, for he is the defense of the good, and that you may be preserved from all evil, and that he may save you from every kind of death. See, he said, take no present or gift for blood of man. So it's like, if these people even was willing to give us reparations for all that we have gone through since slavery, 1619, to 2019. If they even decided to give us that, he said here, don't take money for blood. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, they have went so far, with their sins reaching heaven, that ain't no way out of it. And, ain't no way out of this, judgment has to be handed down to them, just like judgment was handed down from our Father to the Israelites. All the way from when our people was scattered out of Israel some thousands of years ago, all the way to now. We still are suffering because we're still, I was just watching something on YouTube not too long ago, this week. A brother from America took a trip to Colombia, ended up dead, and our people are still being murdered, over here by these white supremacist groups. And matter of fact, the last time they was harassing the citizens over in Lincoln Heights, Ohio, outside of Cincinnati, those so-called wannabe Nazis. And you can hear them yelling out, God is white, God is white. So, see, their ancestors lied to them. And it says in the book of Jeremiah that they going to run to Adonai saying that our ancestors has inherited us lies and things that wherein there is no profit. So it's like, I heard some of these wannabe Nazis over there in Lincoln Heights, Ohio, when the Israelite citizens was out there and standing up for their own selves in their own neighborhood, because the police was out there to protect the so-called wannabe Nazis. They weren't there to protect the citizens. So they armed themselves, and now they are standing up like men and women of Yah, and they're protecting themselves, and you got to do what you got to do, because law enforcement is not going to help the Israelite citizens, so they got to help themselves. They got to patrol their own neighborhoods, and I really commend them on that. But these wannabe Nazis was yelling out, God is white, God is white, But, he says in his word, love your neighbor as yourself. Love your enemies. You know what I'm saying? Just because they think he's white. So their MO is to hate others. Their MO is to hate the chosen people of Yah. See, they're all being deceived. You know what I'm saying? When they see him crack that sky open, and they see he's melanated like we are, and they're going to lay some eggs. Oh man, what have we done? But see, they're being moved by those spirits that Yah has placed among them to lead them astray from him. They believe all these lies. They believe these lies that their ancestors told them, that the God is white. They still believe in white Jesus, but he don't even exist. The Father is melanated, Scripture says, in the book of John as well as the book of Revelation. Revelation chapter 4 and Revelation chapter 1. You know what I'm saying? But I don't even debate with people about that no more. Scripture, this is the word of Yah. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're just bent on not believing that, the truth. They don't honor Yah enough. They don't respect him enough to believe what his word says. So it's like, they just digging themselves a deeper hole. The more they hate on us, because scripture says those who bless Israel shall be blessed. Those who curse us will be cursed. So they're cursing themselves more and more every time they hurl insults at us, every time they offend us physically or with just words. They're cursing themselves. They're adding the judgments that are coming on them even more. And Yah, he has order in what he does, and it says it in scripture that, it depends on the degree to which they have done to his people. That's how serious their judgment will be. Some will be just slaughtered, period, because they have already went too far. But then you got some just throw rhetoric out there, but they have never physically harmed us and nothing like that. So they'll be judged to that degree. You know what I'm saying? But y'all knows exactly who got what coming. You know what I'm saying? For real. Even our people had to learn how serious he is against sin. He cursed his chosen people and scattered us into all nations. So he's not going to let the people who are not a part of the original branch, get away with all that they have done to his people. You read the book of Enoch, and it says that they killed way more than he had gave them authority to do. So it was like they were being tested, and the angels were there writing down everything, making reports, taking them back to our Father, about what the shepherds were doing to his sheep. And they have went way overboard as far as what they have done against us. But you can't tell them that, because let me just continue reading this, and then you got your family, y'all, to see, what the word of Yah is saying. Okay, now I am at Jubilees, chapter 22, verse, I'll be starting at verse 14 to 25. And may he cleanse you from all unrighteousness and impurity, that you may be forgiven all the transgressions which you have committed ignorantly. And may he strengthen you and bless you. He's talking about his people here. And may you inherit the whole earth. And may he renew his covenant with you, that you may be to him a nation for his inheritance for all the ages, and that he may be to you and to your seed an Elohim in truth and righteousness throughout all the days of the earth. And do you, my son, Jacob, remember my words and observe the commandments of Abraham, your father. Separate yourselves from the nations, and eat not with them, and do not according to their works, and become not their associate, for their works are unclean, and all their ways are a pollution, and an abomination and uncleanness. They offer their sacrifice to the dead, they worship evil spirits, and they eat over the graves, and all their works are vanity and nothingness. They have no heart to understand, and their eyes do not see what their works are, and how they err in saying to a piece of wood, you are my Elohim, and to a stone, you are my Adonai, and you are my deliverer. And they have no heart. He said, they have no heart. And as for you, my son, Jacob, may the Most High help you, and the Elohim of heaven bless you and remove you from their uncleanness and from all their error. Be you aware, my son, Jacob, of taking a woman from any of the seed of the daughters of Canaan, for all his seed is to be rooted out of the earth. For owing to the transgression of Ham, Canaan erred, and all his seed shall be destroyed from off the earth, and all the remnant thereof. And none springing from him shall be saved on the day of judgment. That's what it says in the book of Jubilees, in the Sefer Bible. And last night and just now, I was looking to see which one I was going to be reading from, and it's also in this one. It's all in English in here, but just some of the names are in Hebrew in this Sefer Bible. So I'm trying to familiarize myself with more Hebrew, so that's why I'm starting to read from this Sefer Bible more now. Yeah. And as for all the worshippers of idols and the profane, there shall be no hope for them in the land of the living, and there shall be no remembrance of them on the earth, for they shall descend into Sheol, and into the place of condemnation shall they go, as the children of Sodom were taken away from the earth. So will all those who worship idols be taken away. Fear not, my son Jacob, and be not dismayed, O son of Abraham. My Elohim guard you from destruction and from all the paths of error. May he deliver you. This house have I built for myself, that I might put my name upon it in the earth. It is given to you and to your seed forever, and it will be named the house of Abraham. It is given to you and to your seed forever, for you will build my house and establish my name before Elohim forever. Your seed and your name will stand throughout all generations on the earth. Talking about Israelites here. And he ceased commanding him and blessing him. Okay, now Jubilees chapter 23, verses 27 to 30. Okay, and he blessed him with all his heart and said, the Most High Elohim of all and Creator of all, who brought me forth from Ur of the Chaldeans, that he might give me this land to inherit it forever, and that I might establish a holy seed. Blessed be the Most High forever. And he blessed Jacob and said, my son, over whom with all my heart and my affection I rejoice, my grace, may your grace and your mercy be lifted up upon him and upon his seed always, and do not forsake him, nor set him at naught, for henceforth to the days of eternity, and may your eyes be open upon him and upon his seed, that you may guard him and bless him, and may sanctify him as a nation for your inheritance, and bless him with all your blessings from henceforth to all the days of eternity, and renew your covenant and your grace with him and with his seed according to all your good pleasure, to all the generations of the earth. This is our ancestor Abraham praying to the Most High Yah concerning his grandson Jacob and the seed of Jacob. So that prayer carried all the way down to us. Okay? And our Father is going to honor that, because he's not a man that he should lie. You know, I feel it in my spirit so strongly, you know, and I can see what's going on, that, you know, like this country is losing its allies, and, you know, it's like this, the head that they had become when we was the tail is starting to crack. You know what I'm saying? So, Yah's, like I say, he's not a man that he should lie. This Edomite Gentile kingdom is coming down, slowly but surely, you know, and he has awakened us, and the Ruach is just downloading all kind of spiritual knowledge to us, and we're sharing it, and we're actually being a light not only to the Gentiles, but to the nations. But it's up to them if they want to receive this truth, because it's going all over the airwaves. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so, yeah, and he's starting to build Israel back up with the spiritual knowledge first. And everything starts with the spirit. You know what I'm saying? You know, and the earth is moaning, and I look at different videos how they're having landslides all in China and Japan, all over the world. And, you know, a lot of those countries are atheists. And so it's like everything starts in the spirit. See, when the earth start, you know, developing major storms and stuff like that, like great big tornadoes and hurricanes and earthquakes, you know, tremors and stuff, and volcanoes erupting, all that kind of stuff. And, you know, the tsunamis, you know, all that water coming from the ocean and stuff. But it's because earthquakes are erupting under the floor of the oceans. You know what I'm saying? All these things happen, you know, are happening in the world now. And it's just constantly escalating. And we just had so many tornadoes and major storms from the southern states all the way to the Midwestern states. People have gotten killed in tornadoes. Tennessee and Arkansas and Oklahoma and Indiana and Ohio and stuff. I was watching all that, you know what I'm saying? You know, and there's a lot of lands have been flooded out and stuff. All these things that are going on, family, what this is saying, the earth is moaning and is groaning and is crying, the earth, because you know why? This is starting in the spirit realm. The things that happen in the spirit realm is what causes these things, these destructive things to happen on the earth, because there's no reciprocity. The love of our Father that is extended toward this place, there's no reciprocity. He's not getting nothing back. So the earth is groaning. That's why these things are happening. But everything starts in the spirit realm. This place, the moon, everything was created from the spirit realm. Our Father created everything out of nothingness. Everything starts from the spirit realm. The creation of the physical realm started from the spirit realm. And the destruction of the physical realm starts also from the spirit realm, family. That's what's going on. There's no reciprocity from the love of God meeting it. There's not enough love coming back to meet him, so the earth is groaning and all these destructive things are happening in the earth. You know what I'm saying? Because there's not enough love here to keep it from happening. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's just going to escalate, because the word says, and evil men and seducers will wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. So these natural disasters are actually judgments of Yah are going to continue. They're going to be more frequent. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what's going on. Everything starts in the spirit realm. Love starts in the spirit realm from our Father Yah. Okay? He created everything out of his love. And he looked at it and he said, behold, it was all good. Everything was beautiful. Till Satan fell and he was in the spirit realm. And that's when stuff started becoming destructive in the physical realm. You know what I'm saying? That's what's going on, family. Everything starts in the spirit realm. You know, you do yourself a favor, family, to keep yourself walking in the spirit. Try not to be in the flesh. I mean, it's like, I don't care what anybody done to you, friend, family, a foe, enemy. Family, please try to always keep your mind on positive things. You know, and I've said before that, you know, evil spirits, they're looking for a host, and they can come into a person if a person has their mind on like anger and lust. But not only that, any kind of negative emotion that you might have in your head toward another human being, they can enter, because they can plant thoughts in your head. They're looking for a host. It ain't just anger and lust. Any kind of negative thought that you might have of another human being, family, cast it down, please. 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 Why you think, you know, like some people might be known by many people, you know, to be an upstanding citizen all their life. And then you all of a sudden hear about something, you know, like this one soldier did in the army, I think down in Texas a couple years or so ago. He just got to shooting his own men. See, negative thoughts. You don't cast that stuff down. Them spirits, they trying to find a host. If you watching stuff online, you know, that's negative, people pushing out a lot of propaganda out of their mouth, and it's negative toward whomever, you know, and you start receiving that, them spirits, they coming right inside of you. You know what I'm saying? And then, like, you might hear about something like a man and his wife, they got a big home, They, they like they live in large, and everybody like, look up to them because they've been doing so well. And then you hear about something, oh man, somebody did a wellness check, and it ended up being a murder-suicide. You be like, I never saw that coming. He never seemed like he would actually do nothing like that. But see, when negative thoughts come inside your head, them spirits, they trying to find a host. They come to kill, steal, and destroy. What they want to do is express their own personality, family, but they need a body. You hear about people, shooting up places. You know what I'm saying? Because the person that allowed himself to, go that route is a person who has been apparently familiarizing himself and listening to negativity coming from somewhere. Could be social media, apps, magazines, something he's reading, something he's watching. You know what I'm saying? And even kids, get tired of being bullied at school. And you know what I'm saying? It's like, so when they're off by themselves and they got the stress and anxiety that they're dealing with, about I got to deal with this tomorrow when I go to school. Somebody might be taking their lunch money, stuff like that. And they getting these negative thoughts and they're mad, but they just can't do nothing about it. But then they keep on getting negative thoughts, and they're angry and they tired of being treated like that. They tired of being punked out, and they got a chance to get their dad's gun. They know what's that. They could be 12, 13 years old. You know what I'm saying? But these evil spirits, I'm telling you, they around this whole earth, and you start entertaining the thoughts that they put inside your head, evil or negative thoughts about another human being. I'm telling you, eventually they're gonna use you to do something really, really devastating. You know what I'm saying? So family, my advice to no matter what you have to experience in this world, like I say, friend, family, foe, or your enemies, never entertain negative thoughts in your head about another human being. You know what I'm saying? We can love Yah, but his way, it ain't just about us loving him. He wants us to love each other. We got a lot of enemies in this world, family, that are invisible. And they're just trying to find a host so they can express their wicked, evil, murderous, perverted personalities. And anybody allow themselves to be open up to all that negativity that be coming in and out of their head, they had you mad at the world, them evil spirits, when they get inside of you, they eventually gonna lead you to kill somebody. That's what they do. If not that, you know what I'm saying? If you allow your mind to be filled up with perversion, you're always in your phone looking at pornography, magazines, you know what I'm saying? Everything is about sex in your head. Evil spirits are there with you. While you feeding yourself and entertain yourself with that, and they'll get inside of you. And before long, that person will end up be so perverted and so filled up with lust, and they start being a rapist, child molesters. You know what I'm saying? You got priests doing it in these Catholic churches. Nobody's off limits. If you don't guard your mind, family, like the word says, keep on the whole armor of Elohim, the helmet of salvation. You got to block those thoughts, suggestions, ideas, vain imaginations from coming in and out of your head. If you don't stop those negative thoughts every day from coming in and out of your head, eventually they're going to take up residence. Those are evil spirits. They're trying to find a host, family. The battle is not of flesh and blood. It's spiritual wickedness. Everything starts in the spirit. Those evil spirits who are invisible, they're spirits. They trying to find a host, somebody to use so they can work their wickedness in this world using that person. It could be man or woman, boy or girl. They don't care. Okay, family, now I'll be moving on to the book of Enoch. The book of Enoch, when we talk about Israelites, we must unlearn the ways of the heathen nations. Enoch chapter 50, verse 1 to 7. I'll be starting out. I have put every man's work in writing, and none born on earth can remain hidden, nor his works remain concealed. You can't have nothing from Yah. Nothing. I see all things, he says. Now, therefore, my children, spend the number of your days in patience and meekness, so that you inherit endless life. Patience and meekness, family. That's how he wants us. Endure every wound, every injury, every evil word and attack for the sake of the Adonai. If retaliations befall you, do not return them either to neighbor or enemy, because the Adonai will return them for you. Be your avenger on the day of great judgment. See, the vengeance is mine, said the Adonai. You know what I'm saying? He wants us to be meek. We're going to live for eternity with him if we could just weather the storm in this wicked world. You know, but evil spirits are everywhere. They're everywhere, causing havoc in the world. But they need a host, and they get inside of a lot of people. Sometimes you look at that people and you see them, you know, they look like they're shell-shocked. And people say, oh, they got some mental issues going on. That person dealing with a lot of evil spirits. They'll get inside of you. I'm telling you, family, that's their objective, is to get inside of people and express their wicked, evil, disgusted, perverted, murdering personalities. That's their objective, family. So any negative thoughts coming to your mind about any human being, I don't care what they did, cast it down. You know what I'm saying? They'll come right into you. If you agree with them negative thoughts, that's all it takes. You join with them. How can two walk except they be agreed? This goes for spirits and human beings. If you agree with those negative thoughts that they throwing out there, they'll come right into your body. Before you know it, you got company, but you don't know it. You know what I'm saying? They had you mean and mad at everybody. Cussing at everybody about the pettiest stuff. Them people got company, I'm telling you, because that's not normal behavior. That there is no avenging here among men. Whoever of you spends gold or silver for his brother's sake, he will receive ample treasure in the world to come. That's kind of like what I be talking about, family. I don't need to be getting paid doing God's work. You know what I'm saying? He will receive ample treasure in the world to come. You know, that's going to be for eternity. Anything you get in here is temporary. You know what I'm saying? This is Esau's kingdom. I'm waiting for Jacob's reign when our Messiah comes back. Harm neither widows nor orphans nor strangers. Let Elohim's wrath come on. Lest Elohim's wrath come on you. Okay. Enoch chapter 51, verses 1 to 6. Okay. Stretch out your hands to the poor according to your strength. Do not hide your silver in the earth. Help the faithful man in afflictions, and affliction will not find you in time of trouble. In your time of trouble. And every grievous and cruel yoke that comes on you, bear all for the sake of the Adonai. And thus you will find your reward in the day of judgment. It is good to go morning, midday, and evening into the Adonai's dwelling for the glory of your Creator, because every breathing thing glorifies him. See, every breathing thing glorifies him, and every creature, visible and invisible, returns him praise. That's what I was just saying in my last message, family. And you got people go out and hunting, killing Yah's animals for sport. When you do that, you interrupt his praise that he get from those creatures he created. So a person that go out, if you're going out to kill him, to eat him, you know what I'm saying, that's all good. But just to go out to be killing his animals, just for the sport of it, you're cursing yourself. And I'm just going to say something about that over here in closing. Okay, as I continue. Enoch chapter 52. Blessed is the man who opens his lips in praise of the Elohim of hosts and praises the Adonai with his heart. Cursed is every man who opens his lips for the bringing into contempt and slander of his neighbor. See, he don't want to just love him. He don't want us just loving him. He wants us to love our neighbors too. And our enemies. This is his way, not ours. This is his way. He's going to take care of these people on Judgment Day. You know what I'm saying? He wants us to be meek and humble, because he brings Elohim into contempt. Blessed is he who opens his lips, blessing and praising Elohim. Cursed is he before the Adonai all the days of his life, who opens his lips to curse and abuse. You got some people, all their life, that's all they do is talk about other people. All they do, that's all they know. And it says here, for them, cursed is he before the Adonai all the days of his life, who opens his lips to curse and abuse. Blessed is he who blesses all the Adonai's work. Cursed is he who brings the Adonai's creations into contempt. Blessed is he who looks down and raises the fallen. Cursed is he who looks to and is eager for the destruction of what is not his. Black Wall Street come to my mind. Rosewood, you know what I'm saying? Cursed is he who looks to and is eager for the destruction of what is not his. And not our people who follow my channel and view my channel, not my subscribers, but a lot of Hebrews in the hoods act like this, haters. You know what I'm saying? Somebody come up riding with something new, or you come outside wearing something new. It's all you got to do is look at people. They're haters. Haters. You know, a lot of people get their cars broken into, you know what I'm saying, just because somebody hating on them. You know what I'm saying? But Yah, he knows everybody who's like this. He says, cursed is he who brings, cursed is he who looks to and is eager for the destruction of what is not his. And I really don't need these glasses. Blessed is he who keeps the foundation of his fathers made firm from the beginning. Cursed is he who perverts the decrees of his forefathers. Blessed is he who imparts peace and love. Cursed is he who disturbs those who love their neighbors. You see that? Cursed is he who disturbs those who love their neighbors. You see all these people with this negativity, they hate their neighbors, they won't get along with them, you know what I'm saying? These people got evil spirits, you know. And our Father says, cursed is he who disturbs those who love their neighbors. He wants us walking in love, family. But you always see people always got something negative to say, you know what I'm saying? No matter what is being spoken or talked about, it could be the word of Yah. But you got some people, they always filled with negativity. They got something negative to say. These people don't have the Ruach. They have other spirits. You know what I'm saying? Working inside of them. You know. All they know is negativity. Negativity. Test the spirits, family. You know what I'm saying? You can understand what type of person, you know, whoever they may be. They ain't got to be opening their mouth. Whatever they're typing. Whatever they're typing. Whatever they're texting. You know, whatever they're emailing. You know, it tells you what they have inside. You know. Blessed is he who speaks with the humble tongue and heart to all. Cursed is he who speaks peace with his tongue, while in his heart there is no peace but a sword. People faking like they're at peace with you. But in their heart, there's a sword. You know, a perpetrator. You know what I'm saying? Once upon a time, I worked in Minneapolis years ago, maybe more than 10 years ago and stuff. Probably more than 15 years ago. But it probably wasn't, you know, I was at that job, when it's 2025, 2015, I was there. So it could have been around 2009, 2010, so around up in there. I had a coworker, you know, a Gentile, you know, and we was cool, you know what I'm saying? I used to go visit him and his family and stuff. He was married, had 2 sons. We used to shoot ball on the court, you know, that they had on the driveway and stuff like that. And then my boss back then, he said, I made a run for him in the truck. I went to take a load to St. Paul, dropped it off because all the other drivers were out on their routes. And he didn't have anybody else to do this for him. So he asked me. I said, sure, you know, I know where to go, man. You know, no problem. So he was kind of like, you know, I was his last hope. I dropped that load off, came back. You know what I'm saying? He was like, you back already? And you see, before he became our boss, I used to make runs every now and then for the other plant manager who had retired. I said, yeah. He's like, well, you want to make more money? Go and get your CDLs, and I'll pay you relief driver pay. I said, okay, cool. So I ended up studying. I went and got my CDLs permit, And then my so-called friend who I used to visit, I told him about it, thinking he gonna be excited for me. You supposed to be my friend. And he wasn't happy for me at all. In fact, he was downright against it. You know, rolling his eyes, had a mean attitude. I said, wow, man, I thought you was my boy. You know? But when he started showing me his true colors like that, I said, okay. See, I ain't about that perpetrating. If we cool, we cool. You know what I'm saying? I don't want nobody hanging around me faking like they my friend and they not. You know what I'm saying? No, be real about it. Let me know how you really feel about me. You know what I'm saying? So he showed his true colors. He got jealous, wasn't happy for me. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh man, I thought he was cool. You know what I'm saying? But you know, as long as I don't move up on the job over here, you know, he didn't want to see me move up in the company. So I stopped visiting with him. You know what I'm saying? You know, and I hadn't been over there to visit with him and his family in a long time. He was like, when you coming back over to visit on the weekend? I said, you know, I'm done with that. You know, I'm done with that, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, nah, actually, I'm not a pretender. You know, somebody who act like they cool with somebody just for the sake of being with somebody. Nah, if we cool, we cool. But if you gonna fake like you my friend, and nah, we can't hang. Once I find out your true colors, nah, I'm not finna hang out with you. You a snake. You are a snake. I ain't have nothing against him. Didn't hate him and nothing like that. But as far as like hanging out with him, no. I iced that. You know what I'm saying? Like it said right here. Cursed is he who. Okay. I do need my glasses now. It says, cursed is he who speaks peace with his tongue, while in his heart there is no peace but a sword. That's a perpetrator. See, you can't hide nothing from Yah. And check out what he said. For all these things will be laid bare in the weighing scales and in the scrolls on the day of the great judgment. So you can fool people with perpetrating, you know, pretending like you somebody's friend, you know what I'm saying? But all that's going to be laid bare on the day of judgment. So ain't nobody, you know, you'd be best to clean your mind from all negativity toward all people, toward anybody, family, friend, or foe, you know, because y'all see those negative thoughts that you got. You faking, you hide them from everybody else, and then when they look at you, you smile. You know what I'm saying? But see, I pay attention to people. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But everybody don't be, you know, looking for stuff like that because they think the person that they hanging out with is their friend. But you got a lot of people who pretend like they're your friend and they can't stand you. I ain't never been like that. I don't even like to be around people who faking. You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on now, I'm not with that. You know, I'm not with that. Life is too short to be playing the games like that. You know, if you don't like a person, just don't like in the scriptures, King David, who became Israel's second king. Now Saul was the first king. Now Saul, now the people were singing songs, the Israelites were singing songs. Saul killed his 1,000 and David killed his 10,000. So Saul started getting jealous of David. So David was in his palace or something one day. David had nothing but love for King Saul. He was genuine. That's why I say he's one of my favorite characters in the scriptures. You know, and Saul was faking like he loved David, but David was real with his love for Saul. He was the king. He was the anointed. Yah's anointed. So David had respect for that. So Saul took a spear, a javelin or something, threw it. He tried to kill David. And David, the thing stuck in the wall. David ran out the man's house. And he still loved Saul, but he never allowed himself to get close to Saul so Saul could try to kill him again. See, he still loved him. He still had respect for him. I was like, man, this guy was something else. He still loved him after that. But see, you know, y'all give you common sense now. This man done tried to kill you once. You know, you're going to keep coming around him thinking, you know, you could even forgive him. But that don't mean you got to go back to hanging out with him. He get another chance to kill you. He gonna capitalize on it. So David, he was wise. You know, he had the ruach. He knew it's like, I can't trust you no more. He still loved him. He still respected him. And he would tell people, it's like, how can I have, you know, anything in my heart against Yah's anointed? Talking about King Saul, the one that tried to kill him. He still loved him, but he never allowed himself to get close to Saul again physically so Saul could try to kill him again. He stayed his distance. That's what I'm saying. You know, you can forgive a person who done wronged you before in your life. You know what I'm saying? They showed their true colors. Like I said, that co-worker, now I ain't hate him. You know what I'm saying? But man, you showed me your true colors, man. When I was finna be promoted, you didn't have my back. You was actually mad. You was actually against it. You know what I'm saying? It was like, wow. You know, so he showed me his true colors. Like I said, I didn't hate him. I didn't dislike him or nothing. But as far as like going back to kick it with him and his family again after that, nah, that was a done deal. No, man, you was faking like you was my friend all the time, man. A friend will be happy for their friend if they get promoted. You know, a true friend. You know, but you pretending, man. I'm not finna be hanging out with you no more, man. You don't mean me no well. You don't mean me no good. Nah, I'd rather be by myself. If I got to be hanging around with people like that, playing and faking, like pretending, perpetrating like they're my friend and they're not. I ain't got nothing negative in my mind against them. I wish them all the best, but I'm just not going to hang out with them no more. That's just me there, for real. Because I understand what David went through with Saul. Scripture teaches me that, you know. You ain't got to have nothing negative in your mind about him. I'm just done hanging out. That's all. And now I'll be going over to Enoch chapter 59. This will be in closing, family. This one will be in closing right here. Now it's going to say something about Yah's animals. If people abuse his animals, check it out. Whoever defiles the souls of beasts defiles his own soul. For man brings clean animals to make sacrifice for sin, that he may have cure of his soul. And if they bring for sacrifice clean animals and birds, man has a cure. He cures his soul. All is given to you for food. Bind it by the 4 feet, that is, to make good the cure. He cures his soul. But whoever kills beasts without wounds, like you poison it or something, kills his own souls and defiles his own flesh. He who does any beast any injury, whatever in secret, it is evil practice, and he defiles his own soul. Don't mess with y'all's animals. If you ain't out to kill one to try to eat it, don't be defiling his animals, family. Don't be defiling his animals, but the oppressors, that's their livelihood. Going out hunting deers just to get the antlers to hang on their wall and stuff like that. And, you know, killing Yah's animals. Well, people who do these things, they curse their own soul. So, family, I just thought I would just share, you know, some of the scriptures that said that, you know, since we are awake now, learn not the way of the heathen. Since we know those ways, we have to unlearn those ways. So, family, Israelites, this has been Israelites. We must unlearn the ways of the heathen, the nations. I'm Brother Judah Israel. I hope you got some understanding in Yah's precious name. So until next time, may Yah bless you and your families. Stay safe. My love and shalom.